Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Aha Moments. We have partnered with Sales Hacker to bring you some of the female icons in tech to share a little bit of the moments in their life that helped to make them great. I am very excited to be here today with Hannah Goldberg. She need no introduction, yet will get one. The two most notable things on your incredible resume, which one includes you on the board of directors and VP of membership for the New York Women in Communications, ending in 2017. I just think it's very neat that you were involved in this women's organization. But from there, going to LinkedIn for over a decade, and now as the head of sales major accounts at Zoom, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. You're an incredible person.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you. Feeling is mutual, Christina. So as you said, I'm at Zoom today and very fortunate, to say the least, of where Zoom is and what we are doing. And I grew up at companies based in Silicon Valley, and that provides so many amazing opportunities to really shape culture, but also get involved in a lot of things outside our function. So you mentioned one of the boards I was on, and also just being part of companies that invest in women and being part of them starting specific organizations focused on that internally. So I do a lot of different things at the places I have the opportunity to be at. Today I am at Zoom in that role.
Oh, they are lucky to have you. And as such, the whole point of this is to talk about that aha moment, a light bulb moment. What was one of those life or work or both changing moments that you had that you want to share?
Absolutely. So I've been thinking about this leading up to today, and two come to mind. And I am really, those who know me personally or at work, I am one. So I have two moments that happened at different times in my life that really shaped me. The first is, it's less dramatic, but it carried with me in the sense that I have been working for 20 years. I've had one female leader and manager who changed my awareness of what and how people can lead. And what I mean by that is she's unbelievable. I'll give credit to where credit's due. She's the CRO of Nextdoor, Heidi Anderson. She's unbelievable. And I had the opportunity to work for her for 3 years. She'd be a wonderful addition to this. And she, from the first time I met her to be on her team, shared how she integrated her work and her young child at the time. And she set expectations around what that meant for her, how she adopted her lifestyle as a working mom and just a powerhouse in what she did on the home and work front. And so for me, I adopted that from before I had children to now. I have 3. And it really allowed me to be open about my life, about my work, about trying to be a mom, how my process was. But really, everybody who works with me or for me, I start the conversation by sharing what my entire life looks like and how I fit that in and what I prioritize and how I do it. So to me, that was a big aha moment in terms of being open about it and at the same time cascading it so it can help others feel comfortable to block their time, to bring their people, whatever that looks like, into their day. So that was one of the pieces out of the two that I thought that I would share.
I think that's beautiful because you're giving people a mirror and you're making it okay for them to be human. And you're making them think, these are the things I have planned for my life. Can I do it? The follow-up question that I have is, I imagine that you've had a lot of questions in your career of people asking you, how do you do it all? How do you find balance? And so anytime the aha moment is talking about balancing your life, what's your go-to answer for that question?
I do love that question, and I laugh because I don't think any of us have it mastered since we're all asking each other. But I do, for me, and what I did learn from her is just being maniacal about holding ourselves accountable to how we manage our calendar. So I absolutely smush my children before 8:30 or 9 in the morning. I do what I need to do before 7, and then I smush for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then I block my 5:30, 6-ish until 8, and I don't give that time up. And then I'll get on what I call my night shift. And so for me, my team knows that. They only text me if it's an emergency in those 2 blocks, but that allows me to be really focused and present. during the time where I am at my desk and during the time where I'm with my little people. And then the other piece that I'll say that it was my second aha moment, but it translates into me being very comfortable bringing my whole self to work was my oldest, who's now 6, was diagnosed with cancer when she was about to be 2. And so we went through that entire process. She is healthy and delicious and wonderful now as a 6.5-year-old. But in that moment, I adopted right away what we call living and loving in the silver linings. And the perspective that I take from that with the commitment that I had before, and I learned from Heidi as I shared, when you put those together, it really makes the balance a lot easier, because I know more than most, and I hope more than most, how lucky we are on all sides of our life, and not to sweat the small stuff. So by bridging those 2 life lessons that I've had, it really helps me stay focused and manage to that in a way that hopefully most people don't ever have to understand.
I mean, we all certainly hope to never gain that perspective in that way, but for you to have made it through that, and I have to imagine that that was unimaginable. I mean,
unimaginable, but I still can't imagine it. But I will say there are silver linings in everything, and that is how we were able to navigate it. And at the same time, it is a lesson that I hold near and dear. And even in the tough stuff that we all have, perspective matters. But as we're going through stuff and we invest everything into what we do at work and at home, first, it's always good to take a step back and figure out what is the positive side of it, whether it's negotiating with a customer, working on something internally. How can we find out that win-win so we all feel really good about what we're doing? Perspective matters as we address all sides of our lives.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I have to imagine that it made you a stronger people leader, because I am going to make an assumption that while you were going through that and completely immersed in this situation that so many people would never nightmare to find themselves in, you still had moments of feeling guilty about your performance at work, or guilty about the time you had to take off. And while you were sharing your heart with your child who needed 100% of it, my guess is your mind sometimes was, am I still going to be a good worker? Is this going to impact me for the rest of my life? And now having that perspective, when people are going through hardship, you probably know to let them say, it's okay for you to dedicate 100% of yourself to that hardship right now. And when you're ready to bring it back, you bring it back, but we'll be here waiting for you. The strongest leaders have that perspective.
Absolutely. And I would say, and I love the backbone of what you do and why we're talking here and focusing on women leaders and pieces here. I take that learning that you just said. I had the opportunity. LinkedIn was unbelievable. I was out from the minute we found out for 8 months. And that was what I was able to do. That is a privilege. I was fortunate. What I believe through all of this is using our voice to support other people, whether it's for a leave that is tied to something so difficult, or parental leave, or a leave of absence, or a vacation. The idea is to be on the court wherever you are, and that we earn it before we need it. And so not to feel lucky when we are out, we can feel lucky, but not to use that feeling to make us not be present anywhere, but to truly take the time and advocate for each other, I think is one of the biggest things that I've had, and something I took from right when I joined Zoom was, okay, what's our leave policy? And dove right in to make sure that we are supporting, whether it's parents or any of us at any phase of our journey. So really trusting our voice and using it to ensure that other people have the privilege that I had is something I took from it as well.
Whew. Well, I love this series because you never expect it to be something that I think is so broadly applicable, but I hope that this video goes viral for the right reasons. This has been a beautiful conversation. Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for giving us your aha moment. And to everybody watching, we'll see you next time. Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.